Hey there everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So guys, this is video 3 of our machine learning playlist, and in this particular video we will be discussing the challenges and the steps involved to solve a machine learning algorithm or a model. So whatever challenges you will be facing while training the model and whatever issues you will be getting related to the accuracy, how you can solve them. So based on that, I'll give you a overview in this particular video. So before we continue further into the topics whatever we'll be discussing in deep related to the machine learning, so you all should have a basic knowledge on this. So I'll be explaining you all about this in this particular video. This video will be very short and you will be understanding it very easily. So now let's not waste our time. Let's dive into our computer screen and discuss more about that. Before that, if you have not subscribed the channel, do subscribe the channel and on the bell notification for more videos. Thank you all. Now let's continue further. So guys, now let us see the challenges and steps involved to solve the machine learning video. Okay. So normally if you see challenges involved in a machine learning data set, we'll discuss about that. Data collection through API or web scraping, we collect the data. And sometimes we'll be having a ready data of CSV, or even sometimes the data set will be available in databases. You should have the database knowledge also of both RDBMS and non-relational database also, NRDBMS. Okay, so you should have of both because you should pull the data and based on that data you have to work. Sometimes normally in the industry what happens, they will be having a database engineers who will be pulling the data and they'll be providing you to work with that. But if you have a knowledge related to that, it will be good for you, and when you go to the startups it will be very helpful. Okay, so the main task will be to collect the data. Once the data collection is done, then insufficient data or labeled data. So what happens, most of the data we gave is unlabeled, or else sometimes what happens, the data will not be sufficient for the model to get trained. This will be the major problem. The accuracy will be dropped down. That time what you have to do, either you have to create the synthetic data or you have to get some other like some other external data, or else you have to try it from some other external sources to train. But normally we use the best option is to create the synthetic data. When the accuracy is dropped down, it will be very helpful for us. And non-representative data, sampling bias, not giving equal opportunity. So sometimes the data will be biased, so you have to check with that. Poor quality of the data, there will be many outliers, null values and duplicate values. Sometimes there will be some nan values, means the data will not be proper. How much the data will be dirty, that much work you will be having. So you have to create you have to clean it, pre-process it, then you have to train the model, or else the model performance will be very bad and the working also will not be good. So you have to definitely handle the outliers and null values and duplicate values. Then irrelevant features. This is one of the major problems. Sometimes what happens, in some column there will be some unwanted features which is not required for your model, or else your model to get trained, because simply the training time increases and even the model performance also gets slowed down because of those irrelevant features. That time you have to drop them or you have to treat them in some other ways, or else it will be very difficult for the model performance. Then overfitting, if this will be a problem, then your model will not make any accurate predictions. Sometimes what happened, let me give you an example. This overfitting and underfitting will be the major issue. Okay, let me tell you the underfitting, then I'll give you the example. Okay, it is a real time example, one of my friend faced it. Your model will be accurate, but initially the incorrect prediction, sometimes this will be there, then that means that it's an underfitting. So the example is like, so one of my friend, what happened, he was learning machine learning newly at that particular point of time. He's my friend or else my colleague. Okay, so he was learning it. At some point he somehow trained the model, he completed everything, then he got 99% accuracy. He was very happy, but after predictions he is getting everything wrong predictions. Then he showed to me and even one of my friend, then we checked it out. Then we saw that everything, whatever work they have done, then I saw that the model was actually overfitting. So he has to remove the outliers and everything, which he has not done. He has to impute the data and he has to remove the outliers. Those many things, steps were there which he did not do. He directly trained the model, so it was just overfitting. So this problem will be with you all also, those who are learning newly. So make sure that learn about the data very well, and you should have the good understanding about the data when you are working with. Simply it will not give you 99% accuracy or 98 or 100. Definitely the accuracy will be a bit less, but you should make sure that the why that particular accuracy is that much only and why you are not able to improve. You should think in that particular business or else the domain point of view. You should know that why the particular accuracy is not getting increased, and you should have that particular domain knowledge also to which you are working with. Software integration. After making a good model, problem is to integrate it with a proper software. You have to make some software changes, right? You have to either deploy in AWS or else you have to deploy somewhere to make it online or host it, and you have to bring it online, right? Then only people can use. They cannot use your model directly using Python or something. Everyone don't see the coding point of view, right? Many of them want the website where if they just type, they should get the output. So you have to see that how you can make that front end and back end, how you can bring your model host online, and how you can make people use it. This will be the another problem. Offline learning deployment, you need to update with a respective interval of time. Normally there are two types. One is like continuous update or else the batch update. Sometimes what happen, we bring the model down or else the website down, then we update the data, we train the model again, and with the best model again we take the website up. Sometimes this happens. Then 10th, finally the 10th problem will be the cost involved, which is major problem when you are learning any machine learning or else any other deep learning or NLP, whichever you are learning or you're training the data. Definitely the problem will be related to the cost. When you are using AWS or anything, you have to check with that, because sometimes you, without knowingly, if you use it, then the cost of that particular instance or else the cost of that particular database will be like more, which you will be suffering to pay. You should think in the point of view where you can reduce the cost to the company, and if you are using for your personal use, you should think that how you can maximum try to avoid the cost. Simple solution will be for the people who are learning using AWS. If you are trying to deploy, right, or Azure or any cloud services, deploy it at that particular point of time. Once you are done with everything, immediately terminate whatever services you have used within 1 hour. I mean, if you are doing some project now, if you are deploying and bringing it online, within once the project is done, if it is taking 1 hour or 2 hours, once the project is done, immediately terminate all that, delete everything. So then what happens? Whatever time you have used, right, until that only the bill will be there. So you will be getting somewhere around $2, $4, or $5. It will be closed in that. If you leave the instances like that only for the months, then it will go somewhere 200, 300, or $500 also. Steps involved in solving ML. Identifying the problem. Identify the problem that you want to solve and frame it in a machine learning problem. So you will be getting the data set. Sometimes you will not be knowing what is your output column, what you have to do with that particular data set. The client will just tell you the requirements. This is my requirements and I want this to be done. It's your task to find out what is your input columns, what is your output columns. Based on that, you have to identify the problem, how you can solve, and based on that, you have to train the data. Collect data, gather and collect relevant data from the problem at handle. Data should be clean and properly labeled. As I told you, have to perform pre-processing and handle outliers, etc., or else it will be not at all good. Then pre-process the data. This is also the same. You have to transform them. You have to transform those text data into numerical values so that the machine can understand it. There are many steps involved. We will be learning about that in detail in the upcoming videos as well. We will be performing a project, right? That time you will get a detailed idea. Splitting the data into training and test set. Split the data into training and test set to evaluate the performance of a machine learning model. So how much data you are having, in that you will be splitting some data, and some data is for training and some data will be for testing. We will be doing that also. Selecting a model. Choose an appropriate machine learning model that fits the problem of the data. So you will be training many times. You will be training the model multiple times with new data and new algorithms, and where the model is giving good accuracy and which model is best, only you will be selecting that, right? Bad performance model we don't require, right? So you will be selecting the model which is performing better with the which algorithm it's performing. Train the model. So we'll be training the model, then evaluating the model. Training in essence nothing, with the libraries will be training or the algorithm. Then we'll be evaluating it with the test data, like how it's performing. And if it is performing bad and if it's not working well, then we'll be again fine tuning it. In essence, we'll be changing the data in between the model and I mean the features, whatever it is there. Data features, in essence, like we'll not be changing the main data, we'll be changing some features whatever we have done, where we'll be fine tuning it, and whatever libraries we have used or algorithms will be fine tuning it, and we'll be checking how we can improve the accuracy. Once the accuracy is improved and it's good performing well model, then we'll deploy the model and update or else host it online. That's all. This will be the process mainly. So this all you should know. These are the main two challenges or else steps which will be involved. You should know as a machine learning engineer. So remember this. If you know all this, it's enough. So guys, that's all for today's video. Do like, share and subscribe the channel. And from next video, we'll be starting the main theory of machine learning. Okay. So that's all for today's video, guys. Bye bye, and do share this video with your friends, those who want to learn machine learning, and subscribe the channel. Bye bye.